Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Anton, and welcome to today's video for Legends of Runeterra. Today, what are we doing? Today we have more cards from the upcoming set, Domination. No new champions today, no new mechanics, really. I think today is Shurima Day, so lots of Shurima cards. Not really a fan of the Shurima region in general. There's some stuff I like in it, but there's also a lot of stuff I don't like in it. I guess I'm very mid on Shurima in general. So I'm not too excited about it. Just been a lot of stuff I'm not a fan of in Shurima, Infinite Action, Kaisa, etc., etc. But there's some stuff I like Zillion. I think I've also got some Shadow Isles stuff too. I'm always a fan of Shadow Isles. So let's go and look at the cards. Probably not going to be too long of a video because, again, no new champions, no real new mechanics though. But yes, as I said, Shurima and Shadow Isles, it seems like there's about 7 cards here to talk about. So let's start. Let's start with, what is this? Camouflaged Horror. 7 mana, 5/3. Okay. It's expensive. What's it do? It's got Fearsome and Evolve. Okay, so doesn't necessarily mean it's Kaisa support, but what else does it do? Play. I strike an enemy. They don't strike each other. Okay. Evolve. Okay, it's been a while since I've seen an Evolve unit. If I remember correctly, Evolve is a +2/+2, so it's a 7/5 when it's evolved. By turn 7, if you're playing this, you're probably evolved. Huh. I mean, besides the card itself, the artwork is nice. I really like this artwork. Seems like it's more about like Belveth and stuff too. So yeah, this card though, we've had cards like this before, I feel, and they've just never seen play. I don't know why. It seems like they keep, I don't know, they haven't tried hard, but it seems like they do try to give Shurima this strike on a stick kind of mechanic. The only card in the game that has this ability right now, I think, is Rampaging Bakai. It's something Bakai. I think it's called Rampaging Bakai. It's a 5 mana 4/6 in Shurima. The difference is I think that is like, it's tied to slay, and you have to slay like 4 things before it strikes, and it doesn't actually strike the same way as Camouflage Horror. It's more of a single combat strike where they fight each other, the Bakai and its target. So Camouflage Horror, with the way it's worded, will just strike its target and not get damaged in return. I don't know. I don't think you would play this in Kaisa decks, and if you're not activating Evolve, I mean, if you're not activating Evolve, it's still 7 mana, deal 5, but 3 health by turn 7 is a little easy to answer, because it is a skill, so you could answer it before stuff happens. I guess the fact that it is a skill also means, like, maybe Jhin? Like, a more control-y Jhin? People tried to build control-y Jhin-style decks. The problem with that was a lot of skills just were more oriented towards being aggressive, and Jhin himself doesn't really help with the control side of things. But yeah, as you can see here, it is a skill, so yeah, maybe a Jhin deck, but I just think it's too expensive. Maybe when rotation happens and if the game slows down, maybe this will be fine. But I don't think Kaisa would ever play this, and outside of Kaisa decks, I think it's not even considerable. Except for maybe Jhin, but Jhin as a champion is just aggressive, and this is not aggressive. Fearsome's kind of cute, but Fearsome just feels like it was tacked on as a little extra value. So, whatever. Next up, Curse of the Tomb. 2 mana burst speed spell. Predict. Okay, that alone is decent. 2 mana burst speed predict is definitely not worthy. We have 0 mana just predict. But we'll play 2 mana predict if it has a good extra line of text. We do that already, right? Like Time Trick and whatever Zillion's champ spell is called. Give a unit, I take double damage, and if I would die, obliterate me instead. I like it. I think this is a pretty good card. I like that it doesn't say like double damage from spells, or it's like limited from its damage source. I like that because it means just unit damage, combat damage will be affected by this. So, you know, your 2/2 will be dealing 4 damage to whatever it strikes. So yeah, I think this is a pretty good card. It reminds me a lot of Disintegrate. In fact, I don't think it's as good as Disintegrate. Because you still have to actually deal the damage here, and Disintegrate is just an actual kill, while this just doubles the damage, so it might not even kill completely. But I think it is almost, it's near the level of Disintegrate, but not as good. And while Disintegrate's not that popular right now, that's for a number of reasons. I think this card is playable. And like Rite of the Arcane is pretty solid with this. Bumps your Rite of the Arcane up to 8 damage. The Predict on top is really good too. If it weren't for the Predict on top, I'd just be kind of mediocre, just mid on this card. But thanks to Predict, I like this card. Zillion could probably play this. Anything I think that will play Rite of the Arcane could play this, and since it works with units, you could just throw it in some unit-based decks too. So I like it. Big fan of it. Next up, the Altar of Blood. When you slay a unit, reduce the cost of the next darkened unit you play by 1. It's a 2-mana landmark as well. Why is it showing like a secondary card? Why is it showing off Dark Enthrall? Is it because it's in the art or something? That's weird. I don't see any line of text on here that means Dark Enthrall is popping out. I don't know. I feel like this is like, what? I don't know. Does this work with Darkened Weapons, actually? I feel like this should work with Darkened Weapons. Like, I don't know, like, let's take, Harazi. Harazi is normally 8 mana. If you have the Altar of Blood effect going on, can you summon Harazi for 7 mana? I feel like you should be able to. Also, does it stack? Like, if you slay 4 units, let's use Kayn. Let's use Kayn as our example, because we know for a fact that Kayn will work because he is a Darken. Kayn's normally 5 mana. Let's say you slay 4 units. Will Kayn be 1 mana? Or does it not stack? If it doesn't stack, this card kind of sucks. If it stacks, it's a slow card, but that's a powerful effect. I feel like this is set up for Aatrox, though. This makes me feel like Aatrox is going to be some kind of big, expensive champion that needs to get discounted somehow, or just expensive in general. Maybe like an Aurelion Soul kind of card. So I like the card. I like that it hints towards Aatrox being a big boy, because I hope Aatrox is a big kind of guy. I'll say this, though. I kind of hate that it's not a cultist card. Like, why is it not a cultist card? Maybe it was a cultist card during design, and for balance reasons, they didn't, because maybe they were like, yeah, this is too good with Kayn or Varus or something. But I like the card. I think it's fine. It's really, really slow, though, but I think it has potential. Okay, next up, our last Shurima card for the day. 2 mana, 2/1 equipment, Swinging Glaive. Strike, create a Lucky Find in hand. Lucky Find are those 0 mana burst speed spells that just buff up your units a small way. From the Bruiser, or whatever his name is, that 5 mana 5/5. I honestly can't remember the name of that guy. There's a lot of cards that create Lucky Finds, only that 5-drop is playable, really. This card, though, is it good? Maybe? Like, equipment in general is decent, I think, in Shurima because of action. Like, yeah, and maybe Action Severe would play this, but I like the card. I just don't know what deck would play it. It's like Severe decks, I guess. Outside of, like, Action or Severe decks, I'm not really sure who would play this. Maybe a Renekton deck? I don't think Renekton would want to play this. I don't think any of the other Ascended would play this. Like, Azir doesn't care about this. Neither does Xerath, in my opinion. So yeah, I don't know. Of course, Rek'Sai wouldn't do this. This isn't a Lurk card. Rek'Sai only cares about Lurk. So yeah, I don't think this card's On paper, this card looks like a good card. I just don't know if it's going to actually be able to find a good home. But, you know, value. Next up, though. Also about Swing Glaive. I guess since it does say strike, severe action is usually Demacia, so you can get some more value with, like, Demacia strikes, like Concerted Strike. Anyway, our next couple of cards, our last few cards here, all Shadow Isles cards. First off, we got a Landmark. Opulent Foyer. 3-mana landmark. When I'm summoned or when you gain the attack token, summon a Ghastly Band. I do like that it seems to, or it doesn't seem, I do like that it works when it does something right away when it's summoned. Is it worth it though? I mean, if you don't remember, Ghastly Band is the 1-mana 2/1 hollowed. That's the keyword. You usually just get it from other cards, so it's kind of cute that this is also creating that card. You know, you get it from like the Conductor, the 3-mana 4/2, that 3-mana spell that summons a couple of them as well. I think that's the only way to get it so far. But I don't know. I guess this is meant to help you stack hollowed quickly, but the fact that you only get the Ghastly Band when you're attacking kind of kills it for more defensive reactive decks. So I don't know. Gwen Katarina used to be really powerful. It kind of fell off, both from meta shifts and a nerf to harrowing, I would say. Even though I think it's more because of the meta shifts and less because of the nerf to harrowing. Maybe that deck would play this. I don't know if they would. I don't think they would, because that deck is very tempo-oriented. And while this does something right when it's summoned, it is kind of a tempo hit. But yeah, maybe a slower Gwen deck could play this. Because you're stacking a lot of hollowed with this card, maybe some Atrocity deck or something. Maybe we can try out Viego Gwen again with this card. So yeah, I kind of like the card. I like that it brings up, or it creates some deck building ideas. If they're good or not, only time will tell. I have no idea what's going on in the artwork of this card. Anyway, what is this card? Wrath of Echoes. 6-mana 2/5 Shadow Isles card. Round end. For each ally that died this round, grant all allied copies of it everywhere +1/+1. Immediately what comes to mind for me when I see this is ephemeral. Shark Chariot. You can make some really big Shark Chariots. You know what else comes to my mind when I look at this card? Eye of the Dragon and the Dragonlings. You can get some, like, just one buff from this card to a Dragonling. You've got 3/2 Dragonlings for the rest of the game now. That sounds nuts. Like, Shadow Isles, Ionia is not even that weird of a combination. It's actually pretty solid right now, thanks to Yi Karma. It is a little expensive, though, I will say that. But I think it has a lot of potential. Spiders also as well, like Spiders from Elise, just the 1/1 Spiders. Iceborne Spiders was kind of a thing for a bit when Iceborne Legacy was buffed to 5 mana. So these kind of decks that will play a lot of the 1/1 Spiders, there's like a template for them, I guess. Would you play this with them? I don't know. It doesn't buff right away. It does wait till the round ends, so that is a little slow. Kind of hate that it only has 2 attack. Dying to Quietus is kind of funny as a 6-drop and kind of sad. But yeah, I think there's definitely some potential here, and I really like the card. It's I've criticized the devs in the past few months about not having that innovative design, and I think this is pretty innovative here. I don't think it's good. Like, I think the design is good. I don't think the card itself and the power of this card is good. I think it's kind of weak. But I like the design of the card a lot. And our last card. Moonlit Glenkeeper. 3-mana 2/3. When you summon an ephemeral ally, grant it +1/+0. Nightfall, summon a sapling. Okay, that's kind of cute. So right away, it's just ephemeral support, but also like sapling support, which is an ephemeral, of course. But actually, yeah, now that I think about it, this can Wraith of Echoes actually kind of works cutely with saplings too. That's actually kind of cute. Maybe like we can play Maokai outside of Deep now with these 2 cards. Like people have tried Milkai, like Mill Maokai, basically Maokai outside of Deep. Never really did that well. Like Maokai Viego was a thing people tried and was okay, like Maokai PNZ. Maokai just being a 1/4/4 is just, his body's too small and just not good enough. But this card though, I kind of like this card. I like that if you Nightfall, you get a sapling right away. It does buff up your saplings so they can trade better into it. Its stats aren't that terrible. A 2/3 for 3 is not awful. It's understated, but it's not terrible. Thankfully, it has over 2 health, so it survives things like Avalanche, Mystic Shot, etc., etc. And then on top of that, it just has Fearsome for some reason, so, you know, it can try to get in there itself as well to push in a little extra chip damage. So yeah, I like this. It looks like, looking at these cards that were spoiled today, I don't know what's going on with Shurima. It's like we got a Darkened card, a Evolved Kaisa card, I guess. A nice general card in the form of Curse of the Tomb. I don't know what deck wants Swinging Glaive, but it's just a okay value equipment. And then some nice ephemeral support here. Another Gwen card. And while I also said it's ephemeral support, Wraith of Echoes can just go into a lot of decks. But yeah, that's going to be it for today. Not much to talk about because not that many cards and not really no new like keyword or anything or new mechanic or new champ. But that's going to be it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'd love to hear your opinion on these cards as well. Maybe you think I'm underrating some of them. I'd love to hear why you would think I am under or overrating some cards. And what's your idea about some of these cards and how you would build them? Like, maybe there's other things I'm not thinking about with Wraith of Echoes. Like I've thought about Dragonlings, Ephemerals, and Spiders, and maybe there's something else I can't think of. I'd love to hear your opinion on it as well, because it seems like the kind of card I will play a lot. And if you guys just enjoy the video in general, I'd love it if you could leave a like or a comment down below. Always helps me and the channel out. And if you guys want to keep up with the Legends of Runeterra content, you can always go and subscribe to the channel as well. Also, if you want to watch me play some Legends of Runeterra, you can go and check me out over on Twitch at twitch.tv/Senaton, where I stream pretty much every single day. Anyway, though, with that all said and done, thank you all again once more for watching this video. And until I see you guys in the next one, bye.